Jean Giraud, known as Mobius, is a legend. His Wikipedia page is a novel filled with his many style changes and work in the movie industry. I'm not even gonna try to summarize his life and work, just pick some of my favorite styles of his and draw something similar. When I hear his name, I think of this style first. The airtight garage, long helmet, and somehow in my mind it's black and white. It's also the style of Arzac, his most mythic work, those wide open spaces, often with tiles, and somehow a lot of floating people, and it has the most of that classic Mobius dot and stripy hatching. So let's start from the T-Boss pose of the 100 Artist Challenge and make her float, add some classic Mobius rocks on the side, but then it doesn't have the tiles, so let's maybe mix them. And then I'll also get more of the wide open spaces that Mobius experienced when he visited his mother in Mexico. Some phallic buildings in the back are a Mobius must. And for a costume, I'm inspired by the gloves a very young Angelina Jolie wore in Cyborg 2. Classic early 90s B-movie stuff. And it's award-winning Elias Koteas, one of my favorite actors. Looks cool in black and white, but let's add color anyway. Boom! First style is finished. Let's call this one Mythic Mobius. The next one is his blueberry style. And although blueberry looks like Charles Bronson, it's actually the French Bronson, Jean-Paul Belmondo. But Once Upon a Time in the West is one of my favorite movies, and I love this water well scene, so I will redraw that in blueberry style. I just love the fact that Charles Bronson is still a boss even when he's an old man, winning the favors of beauties like Claudia Cardinale. And this Native American really looks like Charles Bronson, so perfect reference. And this image from the album Angel Face is also perfect reference for Claudia Cardinale getting some fresh water. By the way, there's French versions of everything. Alain Delon is the French James Dean. Brigitte Bardot is the French Marilyn Monroe. But Mobius was unique though. He made stuff that the Americans copied. Ridley Scott was a huge Mobius fan and he based the look of Blade Runner on The Long Tomorrow. Same for Hayao Miyazaki's Nausicaa. On to the inking. When he was drawing under the name Jean Giraud, he used to use a brush, so he used a brush for blueberry. And when he was drawing as Mobius, he used a pen. But somehow in the American editions of Blueberry, he gets credited as Mobius, I guess to make it easier to know that it's the same guy. His blueberry style is kind of realistic, but you still feel the looseness of the anatomy. Lucky Luke was one of the other main cowboy strips at the time, and that's full-on gummy cartoony. 13 was a realistic action strip from that era, and I would put Blueberry somewhere in between. I found out in the research that Mobius had a very stormy relationship with the co-creator and writer of Blueberry, because of course he started his career as Jean Giraud, but then he felt like experimenting under this Mobius alter ego for his crazier meta stuff. And yeah, the writer wasn't really happy with that because the Mobius stuff didn't really sell, but Blueberry sold like hotcakes, so it was his main income. Of course, the writer wanted him to focus just on the Blueberry issues. And he can actually draw perfect anatomy, but I feel like in this series he sometimes rushed it to maybe finish the album and then to get back to his Mobius stuff. But you feel his love of nature, and I don't think he ever rushed the landscapes. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, because I know as Mobius he drew thousands of pages, so maybe even close to Jack Kirby numbers. And if you ever have a chance to watch Jodorowsky's Dune, watch it. It has a lot of Mobius stuff, and it's a crazy story. Okay, coloring and aging effects, and boom! Blueberry Bronson. On to the third style, which is my favorite of his, He actually moved to America for a while, mostly to work in the movie business on stuff like Dune and Tron, but he also worked at Marvel for a bit, and he did a series of pinups that are just breathtaking. This Iron Man looks so cool, it's like the suit is alive. And of course there's the Silver Surfer Eisner Award winning classic, immortalized in the movie Crimson Tide.
Well, I said that the Kirby Silver Surfer was the only real Silver Surfer, and that the Mobius Silver Surfer was shit. And Benefield's a big Mobius fan, and things got out of hand. I pushed him, he pushed me.
Now, everybody that reads comic books knows that Kirby Silver Surfer is the only true Silver Surfer. Now, am I right or wrong?
Maybe today we are disagreeing with Denzel Washington. Thanks to the last challenge I did, Spawn is still on my mind. And I got a comment about experimenting with costumes, so this is a Spawn costume from the Golden Age, Superman style. I just love this series of posters. I read that Mobius wasn't really familiar with the Marvel universe and he barely spoke English at the time. So the characters have a slightly different vibe, kind of like dream versions of the characters. I'm basing my Spawn mostly on this Spider-Man image. One more thing they remind me of, especially this poster series with the square frame outline, is this scene from Top Gun. Did you see it? That's classic 80s poster design right there. The coloring on these is so well done. The stone looks like real stone. I have no idea how he did that, but I'm just using some Photoshop masks, brushes, and the almighty noise filter to get that effect. But yeah, that makes it look really basic, not a lot of detail. But for this short style challenge, it'll do. Okay, calling this one done. Let's recap. 80s Mobius posters plus Spawn is Charlie Bronson plus Blueberry is, and Mythic Mobius plus TLC T-Balls is. Alright, this was a much deeper dive than I usually do. I loved it. And there was this one story that you just have to read to believe. Trust me. What do you guys think? Would any of these make you think of Mobius? Or how about just this? Like this video if you think I succeeded, and catch you in the next challenge.